Well, good morning. The Mississippi State Trappers Association sale was very good. And from now to the 15th of March, I have a landowner. I'm coming in here to help him. He's looking for some beaver to get tanned. Maybe an otter or two. I'm setting a few sets in this morning and I'm going to set a bunch more tomorrow. He's coming in with me tomorrow on another piece of his property that I have not hit this season. And he said it's full of beaver. But I'm going to get off in the slack water and my favorite places in the swamps. See what sign I can find. Hopefully set a few. And I'm going to set some more tomorrow. He may come this morning, but tomorrow we're going to drag his kayak and the canoe into another spot that's way on down the river. We're going to pull it, his big John boat, and go in there and hit it. But I'll get the morning started, see what I can find. It's a beautiful morning. Well, I did not get far from where I put the boat in. You see all the fresh activity in here on this caster mount. And I'm going by the size of the track. Right here. The distance between the toes. That's a big mature beaver. Big mature beaver, fresh sign. And this is a narrow spot between the creek and the river. Everything coming out of this swamp comes up through this narrow gap. It's a prime location for me to put in a caster mount set. I'm just going by the size of this track right here. I mean, there's my hand. That's a big beaver. I'll get this set put in and we'll take a look at it. Right here, I have taken some of Blackie's tail slapper caster lure and put it right here. I can tell where they're coming in and out right here. You can see from the grass drags, the mud drags, and the claw, they're coming here. And maybe coming out here. But with this caster lure right here where they're already approaching, I have taken a, looks like TS-85, bedded it right there. Here's my cable. Right there is a TS-85 bedded in a dugout hole. You can see where the front feet are approaching right there. And right here's the trap. Right there's the front feet approach. Right there's the trap out in about 4 inches of water. Forgive me. I'm gonna get the stake run out into deeper water, anchor it off. But with this little pinch point coming between the swamp and the creek, this is a prime location for bottlenecking your travel in a good spot for a set. With the fresh sign on the caster mount and it being raining a whole bunch lately, I know this is a very active mount. All the fresh sign up on the mound, fresh tracks. We'll see how this works out. I'm going to run the anchor out in deep water and keep moving. That's a good looking set. That should have hit. I'm just around the corner from that first set I put in, and this is still kind of in the little bottleneck of the creek where it's narrow, going back into the swamp. And this one is fresh. A lot of fresh activity. A lot of fresh mud drug up on top, and you can just sit here and smell the caster. They're coming up on the approach right here, coming around, putting their mud up on top. Really no sign over here. And all the fresh disturbed roots and grass, and not a lot of chewing because they eat mostly the tater ball at the bottom of the lily pad stems in here. But with the fresh grass and mud being pulled up on it and smelling like caster, You can see right here where they're coming, where the approach is. I've already dug out a bed. Dug out a bed right there for a trap. Get this set put in and we'll take a look at it in a minute. I have chosen to take a little bit of the Welch's Caster Blaster. Kind of smells like toothpaste. I don't know that much about it. It's really strong mint with castor added, but I'd say the strongest smell I get out of it is a mint. Right here on this folded stick, I'm taking a dab of the Caster Blaster and put on it. I bet it an 850 right here, 8.5 inch gel spread trap. Put in a few poke sticks so they'll bump it with their chest when they get up here. And I'm going to run the cable out in the deeper water, set the anchor. See, I'm not putting in a lot of traps today, maybe 9. I'm going to put in a bunch more tomorrow, but this sign right here is red hot fresh. I'm talking about this morning. There's no frost on it, and there's frost on everything else around it. Going to get the anchor set out in the deep water and keep moving. But the Welch's Caster Blaster, I don't know that much about it. I'm using it today and Blackie's Tail Slapper just to mix up in lures, mix it up a little bit from what I was using, and try to pick off a few of these stragglers I left behind in here before I'll get the anchor set and keep moving. What I'm after is swimming right there. I don't know if you can see the waves in the water. Got a lily pad stem root ball in his mouth. He just came out of here. He's headed toward the bridge. Hopefully you can see the waves. Can't see much on this small screen. He's still got the lily pad tater ball in his mouth. But that was cool to see. He's getting on down the creek now. He's about under the bridge. But it's active. I'm gonna keep moving around. I've come back in here to crossover that I know's here. And since I've been in here last, they have really piled on the sign. There's a caster mound here, caster mound here, there, fresh mud, fresh beaver chews all over it. I'm taking one of Jeremy Cooley's Out West Adventures right there and half submerged the snare right here at the crossover. But and put a little bit, well, throw it in the water, the Blackie's Tail Slapper on the slide. Give me just a second. Just a little bit of the Blackie's Tail Slapper right here on the crossover to get their attention. Just mildly fenced it in. I'll fence it in a little bit more before I take off, but this crossover right here with the caster on it, hopefully it'll get a visitor tonight. We'll see. I'll get that set finished and move on. Well, there's a good look back at that crossover set. The snare is right here, half submerged on that end of the crossover, with it being mildly fenced in. 50% submerged snare, about a 10-12 inch loop. Right there's the crossover coming in and out. I know I should put one on this side too, but I did that before and wound up having the beaver in both traps. I'm just trying to out have some fun, not just mop up everything in here, but gotta leave some for seed. Right there's my snare and the crossover. Pretty. I mean, from here, I'm 10 feet away, and I know I put it there, and it's not real visible. But I will move on down. Seeing stuff like that's better than Cheerios in the morning, I'm telling you. Them geese was just sitting there. They was not happy with me. And they didn't go far. We'll keep moving. They starting to get into some more fresh sign. Yeah, they just flew up a small piece. They right there. Big old Canadians. See if I can't get them to flush up. It's just cool to see all kind of stuff out here this morning. There's some ringneck ducks up here. There's some geese there. Been seeing a bunch of woodies, but 2 geese are right there. I'm gonna move up here and look at a crossover. Hopefully get it set without disturbing too much of the fowl life in here. I'll keep moving. What I have found, or what I've already hit before, is a little crossover ditch that runs right through here into the swamp. Small ditch. Very active castor mound right here. It's kind of like marking their territory. And it's a good travel corridor for nutria, otter, beaver, anything coming through here. A lot of them use this ditch. I'm thinking about putting a snare right there, 50% submerged right here where it's narrow, and fence it in a little. I know that's an active castor mound. I'm going to see whether I put 1 or 2 sets in here. That's a good looking castor mound with a lot of fresh sign on it. But I know that crossover ditch right there is going to get some attention. We'll see what I do here in a minute. Here's where I put in another snare, another one of Jeremy's snares that he sent us. I fenced it in a little, 50% submerged snare, and wolf-fanged it off over here to solid ground. If I put another trap here with this snared beaver, he'll be all up in it. I've been there, done that. I am going to put a little foreign caster behind it to get them to come up and down that ditch. But right there's my snare set. About a 10-inch loop, neck down in the little ditch. We'll see if this one hits. Now for my lure that I've chosen, the little Blackie's tail slapper. Right here's my snare. Above it, on this stick, is where I've chosen to put the lure. Make them hunt for it. Swim back and forth, hopefully get in the snare. I don't know a whole lot about snaring. I'm learning as I go, but that set looks like it should work. I'll keep moving. Coming into where I'm finding some more fresh activity on some mounds. This one is real fresh, but not a real good indicator where they're coming in and out. I can make them come out where I want them. Where I would want them to come up and approach is right here. I'm not seeing a lot of tracks or belly slides here. It appears to be they're coming out right here, coming around working this mound. This one's freshly disturbed. It would appear they're coming in right here, approaching it, bringing up their litter and garbage off the bottom to put up here and putting their castor scent on it. It's just a little narrow cut through ditch out in the big swamp. I've got mounds directly across from it and some right here. It's like a boundary marker. It's fresh activity, fresh sign, fresh topping of the castor mounds, and I'll see what I can get done here. It's either going to be a set here or over here in the bullseye where I know I can put one. We'll find out in a minute. I have chosen to bed my trap on this section of the mound, this double mound that I've got here, that one and this one. This one provides me a better approach with better water depth than that one. That one's only about 2 inches deep. This one's about 4 to 5. If I could target a back foot, that's what I'm going to do here. Water's not extremely deep, and this will be a solid hookup, but I've taken a little bit of the Blackie's tail slapper and a little bit of the caster blaster and sent it up this trail coming in and out of here. My trap is bedded right here in about 5 inches of water. I'm gonna run the stake out in here in the deeper water, anchor it up and keep moving. But there's my cable stake, or cable anchor, going down to that Bigfoot soft mud anchor. Hopefully this will hit in the morning. We'll find out. I'll get the anchor out in deep water and keep moving. Come up on this spot. I mean, there's a mound, 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 there's a mound. And it's narrow between the bank and the bush. I have had a blind set right here before, but I'm going in with a caster mound that I'm going to build right here just to tick them off. I don't have the best water for a drowning setup, but I'm going to run it out. I gotta say, I got 16-foot cables. I'm going to get it out as far as I can. So I'm going to put a caster mound in right here, and we'll look at the set when I'm done. Right there is a little caster mound I put in between some of theirs. It gives me a bullseye in this depressed out area. My trap's bedded right here in about 4 inches of water. Took a little bit of Blackie's tail slapper and put it right up here on top of the little mound I built. And I'm gonna run my cable round in the deep water. But with all the activity between that mound, 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 and so on, this should get some attention. It's a foreign caster in around their territorial markers, and hopefully we'll make a catch here. We'll find out in the morning. I'm gonna set the anchor and keep moving. I'm just setting this mound up. Had a lot of fresh activity around it. A lot of fresh climbing in and out, bringing fresh mud and moss and everything up in here on it. I have a stick lodge right here off in the bushes. I got more caster mounds over here. I've got some bank dams and another lodge right behind me with a bunch of chewing and cut through ditches coming through here. But I'm gonna put this one here because the wind direction coming up through here is gonna blow it right down the creek. I've got my trap bedded right here, right in this bullseye. I'll run my cable out in the deep water and anchor it up. But I'm taking a little bit of the caster blaster and a little bit of the tail slapper. Maybe you can see the shiny spot right in there. But I'm gonna get this set anchored up and keep moving. Well, I don't know if I filmed it or not, maybe not, but I was excited when I found this mound. I got it set up. I've got the trap bedded over here on this side with a little bit of the tail slapper and a little bit of the caster blaster on the side. Got the trap bedded right here and run out deeper water on a stake. I'm just around the corner from the stick lodge, which is just right around here. A lot of activity fresh between these mounds, the stick lodge, bank dens, another lodge on the other side of the creek. Between this set and the set across from it should pick up something. Should, because this is a change up lure from what I've used in here before, and the sign is fresh. We'll see in the morning. I'm gonna keep moving down. I think I got one snare left. We'll see in a minute. I found this little bitty dam. I see the crossover on it, and I've got a little crossover down here. But let me see if I can get to where I can get it, see it good. Once they come across this crossover, come through here, duck under that branch, right there in that neck down spot. I'm fixing to go make that snare loop a little smaller. Right in there, I have a snare. I'm gonna see if this works. I have never done it this way. I don't see why it wouldn't work. I mean, got the big creek right there. Got the overflow, the crossover coming up through here, coming out into the main creek. I'm gonna make that loop a little smaller and see if this will produce. Looks good to me. All right, here's the other little overflow that comes. I almost put it there, but it'd be in the open creek, and like you see, there's people fishing right there. Figured I'd put there's the little dam with the crossover. Right there's my snare. It comes right through here into the main creek. Whew. Hopefully that'll work. I kind of put it up in there a little ways to make it out of the line of sight, and hopefully not get tampered with. This is the last set I'm putting in today. Tomorrow, hopefully the landowner's coming in, and we're going to a place that I have not hit, and that he said is loaded with beaver. He said bring what traps I could gather up. We'll find out tomorrow. See you then. I'm getting out of here.